I have finally escaped this devil. I had to. It was too much this time. I can feel you here. Your soul, it's struggling. Just like last year. Dorothy Helm. Her heart was failing too. Just like yours did. But I fixed her. I did. I went against everything. And it worked. I saved her life. I can't begin to understand how such a intricate procedure, but any normal mortal could perform it. It would be a miracle if I still felt tied to that sort of thing. I showed him my work. Look what I done. He was my partner. Just to brave the storm together. And he just looked at me, patted me on the shoulder, and said, "Carve her up, boil her, and pack her in with the others." Just to give her a number. He didn't understand. He'll understand now. I'm done with that way of life. I'm done with the Undead Surgeons Guild. I took Vinny, Nancy, Mickey, Mario, and we left him. We're gonna continue working the highways the way Vinny, Nancy, and Mario have. Vinny, he has the gift, I really think. In years to come, I can show him how to make this flesh live beyond this world we're living in. We'll build up a base, and we'll keep committing, I guess, our highway atrocities until we can bring some sort of normalcy to what we do to the masses. I'm gonna start scarring everyone and protect them against the storm. No vampire blood will be needed. I can do it. I know I can. I don't need him. He's already sent a few acolytes. We destroyed them with ease. All that aside, I don't understand why I can feel your soul through that horrible place. Why are you still here? Move on. You need to pass into the light. I don't want the next Halloween to be with your presence until I can locate it. I'm going to find you. I promise.
Happy Halloween, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our annual Sirenitreat. This was a really fun one to make, to dive into more of the backstory of the inner workings of what made Johnny Stitches. I guess I'm going to be doing these annual monologues probably till the end of time. We can always jump around. But that one was really special. Touched on a piece of the lore that I was really wanting to explore a little deeper into the Sirenicide show. And that being said, since we're on Halloween, I guess we'll talk about what's next. As you know, Sirenicide, the serialized story, is ending. This is the final chapter, the 4th season, And we are really, really excited to be week to week right now. I've been getting great responses over the stories. If you've been following us on YouTube, we have our weekly Q&A we've been releasing every week, answering fan-based questions, and it's been just a blast. This thing has grown into something I could have never imagined. As you can tell, I'm in the ice format here. We haven't done an ice episode in a while. We're waiting till after season 4 is over to do some interviews with some cast members. That way we can go full spoilers. But I wanted to talk about what's next. And it is Hearing the Haunted. HearingTheHaunted.com. Hearing the Haunted on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Everywhere. Check us out. Give us a follow, a like, and a subscribe. It is a podcast that we're going to be launching next year. Early next year. And it is going to be at least in the first or second quarter of next year, I should say. See, ice format. We're going to basically be calling it Hearing the Haunted, a Sirenicide anthology podcast. And it's going to have self-contained stories that people can submit into us via our Reddit or via our submissions form on hearingthehaunted.com. The stories are going to be written in the Sirenicide universe, but they're not necessarily, see, ice again. They're not necessarily going to be following the actual characters that we built into the serialized story. It's going to be all about the standalone tales, like Yellow Eyes, Shutter Love, those kind of things, taking that idea and moving them to there. But they're going to also be given to people that have never heard Sirenicide before. Here's some creepy stories. I think they all take place in this fictional universe. Are they connected? I'm not sure. And then obviously at the end of each episode, we'll tell people if you want more on the world these stories are written on, go check out the serialized story. Now the serialized story itself on this feed is coming to an end, but the feed will not go completely dark. We are going to still be airing some annual Halloween stuff. If we ever get an itch up our sleeves or we hit a certain Patreon number, we'll probably release a few series and things like that on this feed. So just, stay tuned to it. There's no reason to unsubscribe to it. It's just going to be a little bit different. And we're going to be channeling most of our stuff over to the Hearing the Haunted feed. Now, Sirenicide.com will have plenty of Hearing the Haunted links. In fact, if you scroll down right now, there's this weird, ghastly-looking new logo we've been using that's got the 3 stitches and size from large to small order instead of small to large, a little bitty detail. But if you click that, that'll actually take you to hearingthehaunted.com. So we'd love to see you on those mediums if you're listening to this, and get ready for an anthology experience from our brand of horror drama telling. And more audio drama than horror, because we're going to let people do mystery, sci-fi. If you got this really cool, dark love story you've always wanted to write, but it's not necessarily gore or horror, send it in to us. Submit it to our Reddit or submit it to us on the submission form once it's up on the website. Now the Reddit is live, but the website is just a landing page at the moment. But I thought, it's Halloween. It's called Hearing the Haunted. I might as well talk about it a little bit here. I've had a couple questions messaged to us and emailed to us about what exactly is this link I've accidentally clicked on and some things like that. So that is the evolution of the show. Now, if you are a loyal patron subscriber, the Patreon is going to be for both. So you don't got to worry about, I got to support this. The funds are all going to support it. So it's basically going to be Sirenicide is creating Hearing the Haunted, since it is a Sirenicide anthology podcast. Also next year, we will be launching the Midland RPG, and that'll be the live streaming role-playing game that will take place in the Sirenicide universe. We are designing that right now, what time period it's going to take place in, what playable classes and characters and species that you'll be able to inhabit, and exactly how we're going to unroll that out over the early part of next year. It's going to be Patreon based. It'll be public for anybody to view it, but to play, it's going to be a reward for people at certain tier levels, and you'll get to see a bunch of the creators of the show themselves and myself. For the first few ones, I'll be DMing most of the games, or GMing. We haven't really decided how we're going to do all that. And we're going to be writing a guide for that we're going to send out. And if you support at a certain level, you get the PDF version of the guide. And then if you support at a higher level, then we're going to send out an actual physical guide to you. That way you'll have that, and with all the dice rules and everything like that. So very exciting 2020 ahead for the Sirenicide universe. And if you haven't checked us out on Patreon, right now is a great time to consider donating $1 and get in on all the bonuses. Get your questions answered first for the Q&A and be part of what we're building moving forward. We're looking very forward to 2020 and telling some compartmentalized standalone stories and continuing what we do. So without any more ands and ums, I'm going to close this out. Enjoy your Halloween. Thank you so much for supporting, and I think you got like 4 or 5 days, not even that, and you have the new episode of Sirenicide. So let's do it. All elements of Sirenicide are copyright 2019 by Atrium Dynamics unless otherwise stated. Any duplication of this production without the secured written consent of Atrium Dynamics is strictly prohibited. Please visit Sirenicide.com for more details.